going to be in making those decisions. So, to really understand the future and how to be an entrepreneur, I'd like to maybe take a look back, if I may, because I like looking back, because I can, because I was born in 1960. Some of you probably don't know the era of black and white. That's very nice to know. If you probably want to know what I mean by black and white, everything was black and white. Seriously, the whole world was black and white. There was no colour. When television went colour, did the whole world go colour? And I want to take a snapshot back 50 years, okay? Let's go back to 1961. Let's all be hippies, shall we, with long hair and Afghan coats and listening to, you know, yeah, right, okay. And I want to just first of all highlight a few things about 1961. Now, in 1961, we didn't have any of these things in 1961. We didn't have an independent Singapore in 1961. We didn't have a lot of these technologies. Which we don't have it now in 2011, for God's sake. Who's a Justin Bieber fan? No one dare put their hand up. Seriously, we had none of these things in 1961. None of these things. No computers, no internet, no mobile phones. The mobile phone only really came mid-80s, which is only 20, 25 years ago. So we didn't have these things. We did have these things in 1961. If I may share with you, we did have, I took my first steps. I actually started walking, so I was independent. I became an independent person at the age of 1. At the age of 1, I started walking. I didn't need anybody, man. It was like me and no one else. I was off. And then I banged my head on the floor and that was it. But these things indirectly and directly shaped our lives. Pop was invented in 1961. Now, how can I say pop was invented? But the Beatles. Who's not heard of the Beatles? You must know who the Beatles are, surely, come on. They really invented pop music. And, you know, we have the Beatles then, we have the Beatles today, so we can blame the Beatles for that type of music. But it was invented in 61. We had continued conflict even after war, with the Berlin Wall being built. You know, the war ended in 1945, the Second World War. And, you know, conflict was still continuing even within Germany itself. In 61, man proved how destructive they could be. With their largest ever man-made explosion. It was a nuclear bomb, but it was, and it still is today, the largest man-made explosion. It was in Russia, just to let you know. And of course, that sort of thing is inadvertently happening today, which is quite sad when you think about it. And of course, the birth of some very important people, and there's this chap called Barack Obama. Although if you watch Singapore Idol, you think Randy Jackson's probably one. So if we go back to 2061, I should say. Let me just go back. Sorry. Oh, sorry. It's going to build. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Or Jackie Chung, Andy Lau. Anyway. Okay. 2061. Let's come back. So a very different world. In 2061. Even I don't know what it will be. Even when I was 1 year of age, I didn't know what 2011 would be like. So, as you know, the future holds no understanding whatsoever. Not one of us know what's coming. You can imagine that what's going to come in the next 50 years is not already here. Okay? It will be some device, some way of living, some, you know, we'll ban mobile phones, we'll have no problems with water, hopefully. All these things. Well, we don't know. We really don't know. So how the hell do you become an entrepreneur in the next 50 years? How the hell do you look at things differently, but also get blur and confused? It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do? You know, events and the ways of life, they have been invented. It's all dark. Yeah, you can see that we do this. We're crazy people, by the way. We just do these things. Where we animate people's eyes and just have fun. This is actually for an anti-drug campaign, and we did this where we actually showed what happens to you when you take drugs to your eyes. So this is what happens. You go a bit crazy. Now, one of the things that you've obviously, there's so many catchphrases and buzzwords, you know, passion, entrepreneurship, risk is another thing. I wonder what you guys truly understand what risk is, and again, that's the other thing that I've learned over the last 50 years of my life, and certainly over the last 34 years of working. I left school at 16, by the way. I did not go to university. I do not have a degree. I'm surprised they let me come into this country. But they did. They let me come in. They welcomed me at the airport and said, "Welcome, Mr. Perkins, come in." And in the year 2000, they actually gave me a permanent residency status as well. Scary. I'm a PR and I don't have a degree. Isn't that amazing? I did work for a company called Apple, though. I suppose that might have made something to do with it, but anyway. Okay, so I know we all talk about tips, but I'm going to quote from a particular ad agency guru called Paul Arden. And, you know, one of the great things about being sensible, let's all be sensible, shall we? Let's all be very sensible adults and human beings. But when it comes to business, when it comes to your life, there's often times when we do not make sensible decisions. And there's actually a reason why that's actually very important, because everybody is making sensible decisions. And the problem is, obviously, we want to take risks, so it's about not being sensible at the end of the day. Now, there's a young lady, she's actually older than me now, but at the time that she wrote this, she was a bit younger than me. And this is quoting her that she's certainly not fond of rules, as you can see. And we shouldn't knock old-fashioned values, because if we didn't have values, how can we rebel against what is the norm? Because being an entrepreneur is not about doing what everyone else is doing. It is about being different. Any idea who this lady is? Madonna. Who said Madonna? Well done. Excellent. She actually is the highest paid female artist to date. No one has competed with her female. Even Justin Bieber can't. You know, and he might be as female and feminine as they come, so it doesn't really matter. But basically, she made a difference. She made a difference, and she still abides by that as we go on. So the other thing about being creative is obviously, you know, it's not about being wrong all the time. And it's not the same thing about being, you know, being wrong is not being creative. But what's most important is that if you're not prepared to be wrong, you'll never ever come up with something original. Never. So this guy's telling you to make mistakes, realistically, is to don't fear a mistake. It really will be forgotten. Pain goes away. Steve Jobs made a big mistake, and look where he is now. Very successful. Another quick quote about Apple. You've got to be true to yourself, like I mentioned before. It's very important that you stick by your brand promise. If you are in a company and you've got a brand, every single one of you is a brand, and you should stick to your own promise, your brand promise. Do not do something like this to compete with Apple, where you dress up in a bloody stupid outfit. Mobile phones do not do this, by the way. They don't walk around and, you know, like, look happy. Some poor student, like one of you guys, will get paid $500 to walk around to do that. Duh, don't do it. The point is, be true. Be true to your brand, what it means and what it's supposed to mean. We're coming to the end. I'm going to give you one book to look at, that's all. You know, we're all given reference. If you haven't seen this book, I strongly urge you to go and get this book. Whatever you think, you can read backwards, think the opposite. If a competitor comes up with a new product or service, don't copy. Like I said in the little talk earlier on, when you, if you're going to go into the technology field, stay away from technology that's already here today. Come up with that one that's going to be there tomorrow. It's been mentioned before, it's very important you surround yourself with very good people. Otherwise, you know, you can't all be the Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs can't do it all himself. He needs thousands of employees around him. He needs Tim Cook. He needs Jonathan Ive. These people are very important. You may not be that flamboyant Steve Jobs, but you might be that Jonathan Ive or Tim Cook. And just very quickly, last slide, collaboration. Don't try and do it yourself. Seriously, it's not worth it. Don't do it yourself. Find a buddy. Find a mentor. Find someone who can help you. I'm going to leave you with a quote. And I don't think I've got time to show the music video. I'm really sorry because I'm being told the time's up. There's a film called Dan in Real Life. And there's a monologue at the end of the film where Dan is talking about how adults, boring people like me, tell cool young people like you that you should plan for your future. Plan what you're going to do in the next 5 years. Plan it now. Do it now. Plan the future. When really, as adults, we're quite stupid. If we're honest about it, whenever we plan anything, it never happens. Never happens. So really, what I will tell you, which is exactly what Dan says in the film, plan to be surprised. Seriously. Because you don't know what is going to happen. Okay? No time for the music video, so speak to you later. Thanks, guys. Want to see the music video? Yeah. we have the lights down dark, like really dark. This is a rock band. It's an R-rated music video. Okay, they're from Canada. They're called Hail the Villain, and we did the music video and all the stuff that goes around it. So